Hi, I'm Maggie,
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
a very bookish podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to a Very Bookish podcast. Today is episode 59, and we have a very special guest. But before I introduce the special guest, Grace and I are going to do a little shop update and talk a little bit about the shop and what is happening at the moment. So, Grace?
yes. On Valentine's Day, we launched our pre-order for our Brutal Ladies collection, which is all the ladies from Brutal Birthright series in a pop art, comic style, art style. I don't know. And we have about 6 t-shirts. We have a long sleeve. We have stickers, bookmarks, all of that stuff. It's on pre-order for about one more week. So if you haven't ordered yours, make sure you guys do and help support it. Once pre-orders are closed, we're gonna probably list the items maybe in sometime in March again, but it'll be a little bit different. Just make sure you guys get your pre-orders. I'm excited. It's been a journey. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the pre-orders will be available till February 28th. That is the last Monday, so 2 weeks. We extended the date. We extended it a week longer, but we'll have them in permanent inventory for until we like sell out of it, and then we'll keep restocking and stuff. But it is a permanent inventory. We also are going to be adding to the collection as well, so stay tuned for that. But our pre-order campaign Monday went off amazing. Within like the first hour, we were at like 30 something sales and orders, and we were very happy with that. So thank you. But now we're done with the shop update, and we're going to talk about our guest. Our guest today is Denise, and Denise's username is with love DAC, formerly known as with love Dak.
Hello, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I caught
Hi,
myself
Denise.
there.
You did. Good job.
Like
How
a
are you,
counter.
Denise?
I'm good. I
Yeah.
want to say congratulations on your shop.
Thank
I'm
you.
very excited
Thank
for you guys.
you.
They're, like so beautiful. I have my pre-order sitting here. I just have to check out.
Ooh.
There you go. Go ahead.
The Atlanta shirt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My Russian girls.
People
Oh yeah.
love that. That shirt, like I think Simone and Camille are my favorite of the shirts.
Yeah.
Designs, Grace did amazing on those. But I was surprised. Like I didn't expect her to get as much love as she did.
I
And was like,
didn't
wow.
either.
I was like, that was the hardest probably design we did, was her shirt.
Oh my gosh, we had to scrap her design quite a few times. It was a mess because my whole process with like trying to create fan art and designing things is that I like the Easter eggs. I like if you know kind of merch and things like that. And I like color and animated things. So when I was designing this line, I wanted it to be like somebody could see the shirt and be like, oh, that's a dope shirt. But then readers could be like, oh, wait, is that so and so? And so when I was doing Nessa's, it was like, well, the only thing is that she's a dancer. She does ballet and tattoos, but she doesn't have any tattoos. That's more Miko's thing. And so I was trying to figure it out. And I was like, maybe her holding the ballet slippers, or maybe just her back, and then keeping in theme with not showing the eyes or covering their face somehow. And so finally we found this kind of inspo for the image that she like ended up with. And we're like, you know what, that's much better. It kind of goes with it. And so then I was just like, maybe she's not going to do as well, because I was like, it still doesn't feel like her, but it does. And now everybody's getting that shirt. And I'm just like, okay, great, guys. You guys are totally boosting my confidence, because I did not think that shirt was that great, but everybody loves it. Camille's, I thought, was going to be like the number one. Camille's and Ada's, because Ada is like, how could you not?
Yeah.
I mean, Ada's is pretty iconic. Ada's is like the most
Ada
iconic.
is.
Yeah.
Ada
I have the like
is. Ada
sample.
started it all.
Yeah.
That's true.
She
I
did.
love the tag you put for Camille, because
I
I was just a ride or die girl. Like that is so like how also I am in my relationship. So to me, I was like, oh yes. Also, that's my favorite book of the series.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Nero?
I know. Oh my god, though.
No, something.
The
I
way Grace
mean,
called it for me, she was like, "You're gonna like Nero the most," and I was like, "Oh,
he's something special. He really is.
I." Mm, mm, mm,
I can't
mm.
get that garage scene out of my head.
Oh
I can't drive, but if whatever he wants to do.
Me paying attention to my brother when he starts talking about all his car stuff. Like, I need to know this in case like Nero pops up out of nowhere. I need to be like, you need me to like change your tire? Because I know how to do that. You need extension cables or whatever? I got that too. No, no.
That's even part of a car.
Hey, I totally saw the extension cable right in front of me, and I was just like, yeah, we're gonna use that.
Are you talking about like an extension cord for an
Yeah, that's what I
outlet?
said. Yeah.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
Nero doesn't need to know it. As long as I speak confidently,
Yes.
he'll appreciate that. It
Yes.
won't matter what comes out of my mouth. It's the confidence that's
As long as he can put something in it, he'll probably be fine.
what? You did not.
As long as you're all greased up, Grace.
I had to make
I
it.
mean, I don't mind.
I'm so out
Okay.
of pocket today. I'm so sorry.
Perfect. Usually it's me, so that's fine.
Anyway.
Okay. Now on to you, Denise. On to you.
Yes. Not
Why
Jack,
don't you
Denise.
why don't you give our listeners a little bit of background, general information about you and your 2 pages? Yeah.
Yeah. So I started booktok back in, what is it, 2022 now? So April 2021, May 2021. And the way that I started was, obviously we were in the middle of everything that we were in the middle of, and it was kind of coming towards the tail end of that. And I, before booktok and bookstagram, never had social media. I come from like the teenage generation of Tumblr, and Tumblr was absolutely horrible and detrimental on my mental health. So I was like, I will never do social media ever again. I still think social media can be a very difficult platform to be on, especially when you're consuming content. But anyway, I was looking at book recs, and I kept seeing so much like in the Reels format of Bookstagram. And I screenshotted the video, and I was like, I should start reading again. Like, this is probably going to be good for me if I do this. And it's a great way to pass time, better than like sitting at home watching TV shows. And I then downloaded TikTok after reading the first From Blood and Ash book, which I got recommended from Bookstagram. And since then, I was like, this is what
Snowball
I do.
effect.
My entire life is this. And I mainly started the TikTok because I was kind of just like, I had no reason to like be funny or get dressed up in my real life anymore. It was kind of just like, wake up, do class, do work, go to sleep. Like, life became very monotonous. And with TikTok, it was kind of like, I can act super silly, or I can share things about books, or we could be a little raunchy here. And like, I don't know, kind of like a part of me that was dead for a very long time started to come back.
Your creative freedom kind of came back.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of had this whole plan of like, I'll make these videos, and I've always written and I wanted to be a writer. So in my brain, I was like, maybe I'll have like a small platform and then publish a book, and that'll be really cool. That was kind of like end game. Obviously, a lot of different things happened since I started my booktok. Obviously, my account is what it is now. I have the Instagram, which is its own, I feel like, force right now, as it is.
What a fucking force your Instagram is. Like, aesthetics plus sensual plus and then you wrap it up in this package, and you're just like, here you go, bitch. Here's crumbs of my life. And I'm just there kneeling, and I'm like, give me more.
It's literally like all like Pinterest inspiration board. Like, when you would like look up like pretty like luxurious aesthetic with like low key and then like slash books, you look it up, it's like all Denise's pictures. That's what it should be, because it's just like, and it's just like, it's like you are the it girl for Instagram.
No,
It's just,
please don't. I do not take compliments well. We might start crying.
it's okay.
Grace is
I cry
crunchy,
all the
but-
time here. Yeah, I cry all the time.
Thank you.
It's all right.
That obviously means the world to me. I think when I had started my Instagram before what it is now, I had no idea what I wanted it to be. Like I said, like social media used to be very bad for me. And I don't know. I feel like something happened when we were all going through the BookTok bans of October. August and October and September bans. I feel like everyone was getting mass reported. It was really stressful to be on the platform.
I survived.
I'm surprised I survived. I was getting banned like every single week. I couldn't post a video for a month. It was pretty brutal. I saw a lot of like fellow creators just like boom, 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 like getting banned. Eamon lost, you know, like I don't know what is going on sometimes on TikTok. But I was like, let's go to Instagram because Instagram doesn't hate me. And you can really like mass report in the same way there, I think. I'm not actually sure. Maybe
They just don't care. I don't think
Instagram's like
cares.
chill.
Yeah.
Instagram's chill.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, I remember when I used to run my Tumblr page as a teenager, so just, you know, I was like, I really liked taking photos of myself because it was really fun for me. I'm not like a very confident person. I really suck at like taking photos outside. I hate it when people try to take pictures of me, like things that like I just like,
I hate that too. Like my parents try to take like family photos and stuff, and I'm like, can I do it for y'all? And so there's so many like there's like 5-year gap of me like in photos and stuff. Like my parents have to force me to be in photos, and I'm just like, but I'll take a photo.
Dude, I literally had to force her to like get into her pictures at Disneyland because I was just like, bitch, I'm not gonna have pictures with you, and you're gonna go back to the Midwest, and I'm not gonna have anything with you. So you're getting into these pictures. Come on.
I have one photo. It's my
struggle.
screensaver now.
oh.
A selfie I took.
Like Grace, you're the champ because like you helped create and remember the memory. Because without you, you wouldn't have a screensaver and you like wouldn't be able to like look on this moment of your life that was like really special to you. Yeah. So that's kind of like what the photos are.
Yeah.
I feel like something on bookstagram is happening right now where us romance readers are saying we're fucking sexy. And
Valentine's Day?
Oh,
Valentine's Day.
Y'all all came to like I was just sitting there scrolling through my feed and I was like, oh damn. Oh
it was like every post was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, we showed out.
And I'm like, it should be like that all the time. I don't know. Something about like mixing like romance and empowering ourselves sexually through romance and not just like, you know, like, let's fuck. Like, sorry. I don't
You're good.
You're good.
We've literally talked about like getting railed and stuff by book characters. You're fine.
Yeah.
I feel like something about like the inherent femininity of enjoying romance is so beautiful and like we should all like partake in it. I feel like we're all beautiful and we can all be these characters we read about while reading about them.
Definitely. I mean, like, Tanya posted like a quick story about like well, she was saying about like how a family member like ended up saying like, well, like look at you, like the picture that she posted, which was so sexy on her Instagram, and the person was just like, oh my gosh, like look at you, you look amazing, so confident, we love it, and all this stuff. And like she said, like I literally, it's amazing to me how like the book community has changed my mind about how I view myself and how I view my own sexuality and how I view my sensuality, and taking hold of that, it's like it's mind-boggling how much that changes somebody. Because if you like go all the way down to like my Instagram, I never had a picture with me in it. It was just like the books, flat lays, and that's it. And then I finally was just like, you know what, seeing like your page and being like in the pictures, and Pauline's page being in the pictures, and I was just like, I want people to like see me, I want to be on the page. So then I was just like, I need to embrace that side of me and be willing to take pictures and be willing to smile, and and then it kind of becomes a thing of like, okay, I can do this, I do feel powerful, I do feel sexy. And then having all your friends hype you up is like the best, because the community, how much we hype each other up is like so beautiful, and I love that so much. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So great.
I hate posting pictures about me, so that's why my page barely has any photos about me.
But it feels
Okay.
good. I feel like
It's very empowering. I think there's like, I feel like on social media there was for the longest time like the idea of women reading romance in the like, and with booktok, I feel like there's this like, it's peeling back that layer of like, I don't know, there was just this negative connotation when it came to romance, and it's like, and it was the secrecy of like, I'm a romance reader, I'm gonna like secretly read romance and stuff. And now I don't give a shit. I literally read this in public. I read this in public. I was like, do I give a shit? And I think there's more of that like empowering thing where it's like Grace is now like showing like herself more, but it's like me, it's like I don't give a shit now about what other people think I'm reading. Because I used to hide it.
Yeah.
I was like, Kindle. But now I'm like,
Kindle.
for me, it's also, I feel like I just remember these like books at like CVS, Walmart, like the airport, seeing the romance books and being like, I bet
ew.
like old ladies read that. Like, ugh.
Yeah,
So like I'm so like snubby about this. Like I would never read something like that, and I'm over here like drooling over fictional men now. I think it's just like the fact that the most important thing here is like there's so many younger women that participate in this, and I feel like to empower them to be comfortable with like safely enjoying a central part of themselves through books and discovering what they like and don't like and what's healthy and not healthy is so important. And like I don't think we all realize like how much we're actually contributing to the future of like reading romance and reading in general.
Yeah, because
Oh
like
yeah.
I think we like to say that like fictional, like especially when it comes to like relationships and stuff, we love to say like fictional men are like they're like they exceed like the bare minimum and stuff, and I'm so like sometimes fictional men are the bare minimum and we uphold them and stuff, and it's like reading this romance and you realize that like yeah, it is a two-way street, but sometimes they're like there's still women still want the romance aspect of like relationships now. And I think that's what was so, I guess you could even say, taboo before about like reading romance. It was always this like raunchy thing like J.R. Ward or something like that. But then like you're reading it now and you're like, well, I love the romance. Like it's the feeling of that like somebody will do anything to like burn the world down for you. And it's like that devotion and like love, and it's like teaching young girls now these days that like you are worth it, and like you don't have to settle for the bare minimum. Like, and guys don't have to settle for the bare minimum. Like it goes both ways where it's not just women, it's also men. And it's like being able to express yourself, because I that's one of the tropes I hate. I hate the miscommunication tropes. So now I'm like, whenever like I'm like moving forward, whenever I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna be 100% just straight to the facts. Like, you down to fuck? Okay, let's go. Like, you want to go to dinner? Let's go. Where do you want to go? I have to choose. I'm gonna tell you, I can't choose. You have to choose. Like, I don't know. I just feel like reading has really opened that avenue for women of like
Yeah.
being able to express themselves more. And it's really pretty and beautiful, and I love it.
It is. It's pretty amazing to see like, like these things that we're reading about. It's just like it's like a safe space for us to be able to kind of like act out how we would go about these in these situations. Like, yes, we're reading like, dark mafia smut and then all of these things, but then like, yeah, when are we ever gonna get kidnapped and like, forced to marry some like don of a mafia? That's not gonna happen. But
I mean, I live in like
I mean,
I live in like the human trafficking capital of America, so I have a most likely chance.
I mean, but like, so it's very different. Yes, those extreme things are not going to happen, but like key relationship points, like the moments of like insecurities that they have, these like those underlying themes, those are the ones that we're taking with us. Those are the lessons that we're learning. How to have like effective communication in relationships, how to display what you want, what things you desire in a relationship,
Mhm.
how the person is going to pay attention to you. You're learning these things and kind of carrying them with you. Like, yes, we say these fictional men are everything to us, but it's like the reason why they're everything to us, they do great in bed. Yes, I mean, yeah. But it's also like the fact that they remember their coffee order, or they remember that they feel unsafe during like a storm, or like they need help building, those little things, those moments of like actively participating in the relationship. Those are like the things that we start realizing, like, hey, I do want that in a partner, that I'm looking for. And then taking that forward with their own things. Because like what my idea of like a relationship was when I first, before I even started like reading, was very skewed into like what I had in real life. And then like seeing all of these romance books and seeing the relationships and seeing the different types of relationships and how they work out their problems and all of these things,
Boundaries.
it
Mhm.
it changes so much,
Yeah.
and it's so much better. And teaching younger readers how to effectively take these lessons and then like understand, yes, it's fun and it's smutty and we love it and it makes us feel sexy and all of these things, but then there's also a lot of that you can learn. It's a big lesson in just taking hold of who you want to be and what you want for the future. It's a lot. Romance is teaching me so much more than school ever did, honestly.
That's
Mm.
true. I agree. I feel like romance just in general will I feel like the biggest theme for me that I've noticed, and I feel like women should know this offhand, is that romance, when it comes to a smut plot, follow a very particular pattern.
Mhm.
She goes first, then it's them, then maybe something happens to him, and she goes last. That's like the curve of like the scenes of like romance books. And like the fact that like she goes first in every book is extremely important for women to remember. That like settling for the bare minimum is not going like, oh, it didn't happen, it's okay. The bare minimum is everyone gets what they need out of a relationship in any
Everyone waves the checkered flag, okay?
exactly.
For those
We're
who can't
there
understand
to
context
finish it.
clues, like me, who had to think about that for a hot second because I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. What are they talking about? It's saying that the women needs to finish as well and that they need oral sex is what they're saying. Because I had no idea for a hot second. And I was sitting there and I was like, what are they talking about? I was like, what's so funny?
Yes,
And then I was like,
everyone
oh,
needs to finish. Everyone needs to finish. It's the
reciprocating.
participating. Yeah.
Small as that is a given. And like of course there's like the other things of like you're like you shouldn't take care of your partner when they're sick. This isn't like something a book boyfriend exceeds at. This is what you do for someone you care about and love. And so it's like these books teaching us these things and teaching people who are already in relationships how to like kind of be able to speak about like I need this to change, or like I need more of this, or like let's try something new. I like love the idea that a book can be like teaching us something and then wanting us to say let's try something new. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
We yearn for that connection, that development, like these characters in books, they don't start perfect. Brendan is different, but there is a journey there. You do have to kind of like develop, and and the best relationships, the best couples that we see are the couples that work through their problems, and they are an amazing couple together, but they both have things on their own
Mhm.
and that they exceed at. And it's also teaching girls how like you don't have to be that girl that, I don't think it's a thing anymore now, but it's like that girl that as soon as she gets a boyfriend, like she cuts off all of her friends and that's all she is. She just is that
You
couple.
can still be your own
It's
self in a
Yeah,
relationship.
being your own self, wanting things and going after it. And yes, we're in this age of like girl boss and wanting to become your own entrepreneur and wanting to make it on your own. And you can do that, and then you can also have a partner who is doing their own thing, but yet you are a strong couple together. It's also teaching that dynamic. It doesn't need to be like well, either I'm in charge or he's in charge, but it's like, it's a partnership. It's a give and take, you know? It's a lot of that. It's teaching a lot about the dynamics of what goes into being an actual couple, being a married couple, being boyfriend, girlfriend, being best friends, even. You know, it goes heavy into relationships of all aspects. I love that.
I know. It's amazing. I love those videos that are like, my standards for men are so high because I love fictional men. I'm like, hell yeah, they are.
Hell yeah.
They better be.
I mean, and
Yes, they do.
it's weird to think that like when we read a story about like a fictional boyfriend taking care of his like the best example is The Hating Game or Twisted Hate, where the girl gets sick and the guy takes care of her and stuff, and it's like I want that. Like I want to be like for better or for worse kind of thing where it's like I want to be taken care of, and it's like that's the thing is like if I have a boyfriend and I'm sick, like I don't expect him to like
His ass better be at my
you
house
should
making a
expect
soup.
like I don't know, well because I have like a roommate too and we're best friends, so if I was because I live alone in my apartment and I'm like if I had a boyfriend right now it would be different if like for him to come over and stuff because I'd be like stay away from me. But also like if I'm living with somebody and I'm like sick and stuff, like a pot of soup would be nice. Don't just be like, oh, too bad. Like I'm not settling for that anymore.
N-
And
No,
you
you know what guys would be like? Oh, so that means we can't have sex today. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go play some video games.
And you're like, and pack your bags.
I'll see you after I'm done,
You could just
I'll be out
take
the door.
your stuff and go. Literally, it's so crazy to me because like I was in this really long relationship, and the cutest thing that I can remember him doing is we were in a fight. I was not talking to him. We had broken up, and the first time ever, like 5 years into the relationship, that he ever got me like a huge bouquet of like roses and had them delivered to my job. 5 years into the relationship. Yeah. And then I read about these dudes and they're like 3 weeks into the relationship and they're popping up to her place with her favorite order of whatever.
A girl moves to a whole other
And
country and he follows her for a year.
for a year. Come on. Like,
I just
it's
don't think like I feel like and that's why like the romance genre used to like feel taboo, right? Because these things like I feel like in society are kind of like, well, you're asking for a lot. And
Yeah.
I think
right.
you're not asking for a lot, you know? Like I don't think flowers is a lot or soup is a lot. That's
And
nothing
it's
in comparison to what you give.
it's also showing that you care.
In comparison to what we get. Because, like, in a relationship, like, if I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm there like, oh, you're working all day today. Don't worry, I got you. I'll take you lunch. Oh, you don't have time to stop by the dry cleaner. Don't worry, I got it. Do you need me to pick up anything from the store? It's okay. I want to provide because I know you are off conquering the world. Let me help you out. You know, I just want some of that in return. You know, I want a little bit of that.
A lot of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. I need a lot of it.
Cuz like
I'm an attention whore and I need a lot.
yeah, cuz
Hell
like
yeah.
what romance book shows is that like it is an equal living like field when it comes to like relationships and stuff, that it is equal because like I feel like within society for the longest time it's the woman is the caretaker, the woman is the one who like literally like I saw this TikTok and it was talking about how like women whenever they go to work and stuff, you're a working mom, but when a dad goes to work and he shows up for his family, he is like a dad who is invested in the family and stuff. And it's like, oh, he like makes time for his family, and it's like this like double standard. And then like in romance books, it's kind of that equal thing of like there's that boundary of like you both put in the work, and it's like for like years women have been like the caretakers and stuff, and like also weaponizing competence. I have been seeing a lot of that on TikTok and talking about that, how women are valued as like this caretaker and stuff when we have to do everything, and then men using that for years to be like, I don't know how to grocery shop. I don't know how to do my laundry.
Oh my God.
And I swear to God, if I ever meet a guy and he's like, I don't know how to do my laundry, I don't grocery shop, I don't know how to, I would be like, then I'm not going to be in a relationship with you if you can't go to a fucking grocery store.
It fucking irritates me. That shit irritates me so much. And that's such like machismo, like culture in like Hispanic culture. It's just like the women literally have to do everything. It's just like, oh, your man sits down, you have to bring him food, and you have to have his plate ready before anything. Oh, did he eat already? And it's like, and I see it now because like my dad works at home with us, like all in the house. We all work from home. And my grandma lives with us. And she has like, she's from another generation. So like she does this thing is like we're all eating breakfast, me and my mom, and we're doing our thing. My dad eats like way earlier. And then my grandma wakes up and she's like, oh, did he eat already? Did you take him food? And we're just like, yeah, he came down, he got his plate, and then he went back upstairs, and it's just like it's crazy to me to see like the transition between like three different generations of how that works, because it's just like it's an integral part of like the culture of like the man has to be taken care of, and to some extent, sure, if the man is out there doing the work, if you want him out there being the breadwinner, if you want him providing for you, if you want him doing all of that stuff, and you don't want to work, that's your choice. If you don't want to do that and he's out there doing everything, then yes, your balance would be taking care of everything else at home. If he's out there in the world,
yeah,
that's like,
and that's a choice.
Or I do, and that's a choice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between it being like expected. I do see though a lot of, I don't know if y'all are on it, but like mom TikTok, and like there's this one woman who talks about how she's a housewife and she's like, I chose this. She was like, I wanted to be home with my kids, and I talked to my husband and she was like, I'm going to be done working once I have this child, like, and I want to be present in my child's life. I want to be there I don't want to miss a single thing, like, and I want to have that connection with my child.
Which is like, great.
That is great. And I feel like with like books and stuff, like I have come to kind of love the pregnancy trope, I will say.
I love it.
It's been starting to grow on me, and I don't know if that's because like it's when like my menstrual cycle hits or something like that, and I'm just like, oh, children, because everybody knows.
For me, that's every day. I'm waiting for that.
But there is this sort of like empowering thing when you do read books, and at least with romance and stuff. It's like Sophie Lark posted a video and she was talking about how like empowered women, it's not just like being a boss girl. It's like how you view like being empowered and like doing what you want to do. And it's like, yeah, within like this empowering movement of like girls being girl bosses and stuff, there's still like this like negative connotation when it comes to women who want to stay home and like who want to be part of like just want to like chill out and stuff. And sometimes I'm like, bitch, I would love to just chill out too. If I could have a rich husband who pays for my books. I literally was like, if I ever marry like somebody, I was just like, can I just get like a $2,000 credit limit and I can just spend it on like bookish stuff like a month? Like that's all I need.
Aim for the stars, babe. A week, yes.
Yes.
I saw you there. I was like, it's a week, honey.
Even on now, I'm lowballing it because I'm just like, I will take what I can get.
That's the double standard, because I feel like now, because there's this expectation of women to kind of like, you can be a girl boss and be a boss. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, there's the double standard of like, if a woman says, I want to stay at home, a guy who lives with his parents and doesn't work isn't looked at negatively, but a woman who's like, I want to stay at home is looked at negatively.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, how does that make any sense?
It's not a balance. It's really not. And it sucks because like me, I am the type of woman I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have a family, and I want to be a homemaker. I want to stay home. I want to live that life. So my husband needs to be that type of man. I know that that's what I'm looking for. Plus all the things that my fictional men are adding onto the list, but it's a thing of like, understanding if I'm going to be at home, then I need to provide in my own way, and he needs to provide in the other way. But it's a thing of like, understanding the balance. He isn't above me, nor am I under him, you know. It's not that sense of like type of dynamic, but it's also like if he wanted to stay home and he wanted to be with the kids, then that means like, yeah, I'll go out there and do that because I do want you to be part of the family and all of these things. But it's understanding is just like we're two cogs in this giant machine, you know. Neither one of us is like any weaker than the other, but we are both essential to running a like successful household. And you know, this sense of like communication that we're going to have and this type of understanding and communication, and like I said that twice because it's important, it's really vital to like creating a great relationship. And like we see these couples in their like, you know, yes, she's working or he's doing whatever. And then we also have like the other end of the spectrum where he's providing because he's loaded and everything. And he doesn't want her to work because he wants to provide for her and her to stay home. And sometimes she'll be like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want you to buy me everything. I don't want to do this. And then, you know, it'll have that brief break of like, well, no, I want to provide for you. Well, no, I don't want you to do
That's
it.
such a common
But
book
then it
trope.
comes,
Such a
you
common-
know,
it's such a
I
good
love
book
it.
trope, though.
I love it.
Oh.
I love it so much. And then it comes to like an agreement, and you know, it comes to like that type of like fruition of like where the relationship is going to go. Okay, it's not going exactly how I pictured it, but we're still compromising to get to the end goal. And that's another lesson that, you know, take into consideration. If you do want to be that, how are you going to effectively communicate it to your partner?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not just like, I don't want to do that. You do that. No, it's not that. It's more than that.
Books just like have given me the confidence to kind of be comfortable with what I want. I think that's like the main takeaway for me from all the romance I've read is that like, I like this, whatever it is, and I want it, and I'm not going to be afraid to ask for it because like, why should I be? And like, I don't know, like starting to read romance has like created this like massive shift in my mentality towards like the way I perceive myself and the way that I perceive others. And like the things that I prioritize in my life now, I guess. I don't know, like it's, I always feel silly saying it because it's kind of like how I always thought of romance of like, oh yeah, it's just fun. But like that shit's impactful.
It does. It teaches,
really
like
is.
you learn, like you're, if you think about it, you're literally like reading like stuff, and you're like, you always learn from you, even if it's like the littlest things, like you have a knife kink or a blood kink or something like that. You're still learning something new every time you read. But
oh yeah,
I definitely,
it's crazy.
I've seen the shift on like book talk, and I think the last year romance book talk has just been and I think finally people in like publishing and stuff see the power of book talk, but romance book talk as well, and how big the romance genre actually is, because it is the biggest genre.
And it was before book talk.
Yeah.
That's like the most important takeaway is that it was
Yeah.
bigger than sci-fi and fantasy combined.
Yeah.
So like the fact that it's like, I just love what it is right now. And like, I'm so excited to see like, what is it going to look like in a year from now? You know what I mean?
Dude, the quality of romance books that have been published within this span of a year, it's incredible. It's like the level of intensity and of variety and diversity and all of these things, but just like this level of great storytelling that we have been able to accomplish within like this year is like so amazing to me, because like the romance books that we're getting now, like 100 200 times better than, you know, the ones like that were coming out in the early 2000s. And it's just that development and that growth and that thing of like women seeing the desire and the need to want to feel empowered and being like, you know what, I need to write this. And then we have, you know, amazing authors, like we have Sophie Lark, who's writing these amazing, powerful, badass women who go after with what they want. And then that's a chain reaction to showing other girls and other readers who are just like, you know what, I'm also going to write another book. And then we have another generation there going. And it's just like a whole domino effect of just like top tier romance that's to come. I am excited to see what type of romance we get. I don't think I'll ever get rid of my desire to read romance. It's just like always
it's
going to be
evolving.
ingrained.
like if you think about it, within the last year, like when I think about that, it's only been a year that I've like I think I posted a video how like last year I was in like a heavy fantasy phase. Like even on the podcast we were in heavy fantasy, and
Oh
then
yeah.
March is when I started posting about romance books. That like Ice Planet Barbarians, Madison Kate. We had the Spanish Love Deception. We had Promises and Pomegranates. We have had like so many. It Happened One Summer. Like we've had so many shifts and like constantly like new books being like promoted and stuff. Like I want to see like what authors do within like the next year, because like Sophie Lark is going to be making an Anastasia retelling, and I'm just like,
I'm
my
so
Ukrainian
excited.
genes are just like, no, 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 no. I'm just eating that up. I can't wait.
I know. As a Russian person, I'm thrilled she's doing it. I'm very excited to see like where the story is gonna go. It's definitely like crack for me because I'm sitting there one night, and that's how this whole thing came about. Is I'm sitting there and I'm like going through my TikTok on my backup account because I was banned, and I'm like, I see this Anastasia edit, and I'm like, why isn't this a book? Because like they're like the original enemies to lovers. That's the Disney Anastasia, obviously not taking away anything from the original story of like
Yeah.
what the romance are.
That is like, I would never want to read a story about that. Like, it's just,
No,
Mm-mm.
that's
no.
painful.
But that
Tragic.
Disney adaptation,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Like, oof. Oh,
Whew.
the Disney adaptation. I like yearly watch that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh
that's
yeah.
like
That's
a,
in the rotation.
that's like, I remember, do I remember when it came out? I remember though my whole childhood. That's like the
Me
one
too.
movie
I
that
remember
like,
I had VHS. I had that. Pop it out, dust it off,
yeah.
put it in the VHS. Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, that
Love that.
movie is so good.
That I think about her blue dress that she wears on the boat constantly.
I know.
Constantly. Like that is an iconic look. I'm a graphic designer, so like I look at like the animation style and the drawings and the art, and it's just like that movie changed my view of like beauty. I loved it so much. And their romance, their bickering. And then Sophie's gonna write a whole book just on that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the banter that they're gonna get into? Oh,
I can't. I don't know. It's like our childhoods literally just being like, she's just like, here you go. She gave us stalker romance. She gave us mafia. She gave us murder, and she was just like, you want princesses? I can do that too. And I'm just like, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. Just
thank you.
Gobble it up.
Keep it coming.
thank you.
Keep it coming.
Well, because like you have so
yeah.
many like different like adaptations. You have like Hooked and Scarred, which are like literally Peter Pan and yeah. And it's just like, holy cow. Like it's like what authors are able to do now, especially with romance, and like you have like Hades and Persephone, which is a classic retelling. But you have you have like so many different ones where you have like Promises and Pomegranates, and then you have Katie Robert, who totally two different takes on Hades and Persephone retelling. Because like I love Savar Miller. Savar Miller is motherfucker. Sav, if you're listening, I just want to tell you the fucking crack you put in your books. I eat that shit up, and thank you for putting me on your ARC team because I screamed when I found out. But I don't know. It's just with the romance community, what people are able to do and write, I feel like is like the amount of like, if you think like the backlog of romance books we have, and it's like they're still like creating unique stories these days, and you're like, how do people do this? Like how?
It gets so hard to even choose what do you want to pick up, you know?
Oh yeah.
And it's like
there's so many subgenres.
I'm like often I'm just like I have no idea what I want to read next. I have no idea what I'm in the mood for. And it's funny because like Eamon did this video like a little, I don't even know when she posted it, but it was like recently that I watched it. And she's just like that she's such a mood reader that if she sees like something pop up on her For You page and it's like a quote like out of context and it's like so good, she loves it so much. Or like an edit, she wants to read that book like right now, and then she'll order it on her phone and then it'll take like 2 to 3 days to get there. But then by that time, it's just like, well, not really feeling it anymore. So it's like,
Wow.
I need it like immediately right there. And that's kind of me. It's just like I recently read Your Dad Will Do, because I was like seeing so many like daddy DILF I don't know, quotes on my For You page. And I was just like, dang, should I just tap into this? I mean, we'll try it out. And because it's like on Kindle, I was just like, okay, immediately. And then now I'm getting a lot of Omegaverse, and I'm just like, I gotta listen to Maya and jump right into that. So it's like you can literally hop on so many ends of the spectrum so quickly, and it's all in the same genre of romance. It's like everywhere, and anything you want. You want stalker romance? We've got a lot for that.
Like a menu with thousands of items on it. Like people can literally, I want a rock star with a tattoo on his forehead who's also a single dad and he lives in Kansas. Okay, sure, let's find it. Because I'm sure there's like 10 of them.
I'm pretty sure I've met a single dad who lives in Kansas who has a tattoo on his forehead.
Has he written an autobiography?
That's kind of good.
Let me just drive down to Kansas City real quick and I can tell you.
That actually sounds pretty good. So if you find one, let me know.
Less Than Zero series is a Rockstar romance series. River Valley Rebel series is a Rockstar romance series. I got Rockstar romance.
I'm definitely right now. I'm definitely on like the single dad.
Oh yeah, same. That's my binge.
Because single dads show that like dads can do it too. Like a dad can like dads can like do exactly what women do, and like it's not any different for men to take care of their children as well.
I think that's why it's having such a hot moment, is because I feel like women are missing this piece of like,
we all have daddy issues because our dads.
Oh yeah, oh my god, my dad's dead. Like I'm I love to like throw that in casually because it really makes people uncomfortable. But like my daddy issues are manifesting themselves through my
love that.
Love that. I was gonna say I didn't care that your dad was dead. That's not what I mean. But I was so shocked that he died. I was just shocked that you just said it so casually.
He's long dead. It's cool.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta embrace your daddy issues.
You do.
I mean, you win the award.
I'm too much like my dad. That's why my dad and I fight a lot. So yeah, it's hard out here, but you need sometimes you need to read a good novel with some great healing moments of those traumatizing daddy issues.
Birthday Girl. Maybe we'll do an episode on Birthday Girl.
You know what? I have it, and I've been thinking about it.
You do
so
it.
bad.
I'll do it. If you do it, I'll do it.
And I was like, should I?
Penelope Douglas.
I mean, it's right there.
They're a good author. But
yeah.
Okay, I need to ask Denise.
Dak.
I did not finish that.
You have Maggie has like no mental filter. Like what she sees in her head is what comes out of her mouth.
Okay,
I
I'm
love that.
sorry I have ADHD.
That's okay.
I love that for you.
I'll call you Mac, and Grace, I'll call you Grack.
I love that. Hey, you know, like that thing. You guys know that thing of like the kids of like saying like, oh, like you may be like her favorite child or whatever, but I'm the family's Wi-Fi password or something like that.
Yeah.
No.
That's me. You haven't? You haven't seen that? It's like this thing of like siblings fighting, and it's always like the youngest is like the.
I don't get sibling concept.
But it's always like this.
Pack these personal issues together.
It's always like the youngest child is like, oh, I'm mom's favorite or whatever, and then like the oldest one is just like, but I'm like the Wi-Fi password, or I'm like the family's password.
I'm the one who's
because I was
education.
the first one.
I got the first car.
I got all of it in there. So that's me. And then when you said Grack, I'm just like, oh yeah, that's part of it. I'm in there.
I love that.
Totally reminded me.
I had a question for Denise. So we talked about how you talked a little bit about your Instagram, and Sorry,
Let's do it.
I just thought
Stunned to speak again.
I just thought that I called you Dak. I know I said Denise, but I had to like make sure I said Denise. This is how my brain works.
I did it to myself.
But so your Instagram, we gush about it. We love your Instagram, and we talked a little bit about it. But can you walk us through the process of curating your content and like how just how
Oh, wow.
how weekly how? Spare us a crumb.
I'm not gonna be this person that's like, I don't know. I'll tell you everything I do, but I wish I had a way to explain it better than just like I just do it.
Just it.
For me, so a friend of mine, I will make her listen to this podcast, but I won't say her name. Bitch, if you're here, thank you. She said when I started my bookstagram, when I was going to bookstagram, she's like, have 9 photos, have them match. That's like, I feel like if I was to give anyone advice on like, how do you curate an aesthetic Instagram? It would be have 9 photos, have a grid of things that look similar. The aesthetic I show on Instagram is not my aesthetic in real life. I do not have an aesthetic in real life.
Same.
I work an office job, I work corporate, I work 9 to 5, and then I go to school part-time. I do not have time for an aesthetic. Most of the time, like my hair is dirty, I'm like in jeans, sneakers, and a sweater. Like that's the reality I feel like of every social media thing, is that like you're seeing a slice of someone's life. And this is a slice of my life that I like, and I feel beautiful in this slice of life. And I feel like this slice of life is like going back to that empowerment of like, this is a part of me that exists in here, and given my life circumstances, being busy right now, I can't do it all the time, but this is who I want to be, and this is who I feel like I am. And so like finding out like what that is for you takes time, because like you haven't seen my old feed, but it used to be like browns with grain, and like it was a whole other mess than it is now. But the one thing in terms of like having an aesthetic is like a feed planner changed my life. None of my posts get taken the same day. I sit on photos I take for 2-3 weeks at a time. It all has to kind of like come together. And I feel like what I was doing before was taking a photo, putting a filter, posting, and going like,
Me.
I mean, Grace, your feed, your flat lays are beautiful. I went through your page a couple weeks ago, and I was like, holy shit.
Thank you.
This is like, but like you have a theme going. I think it's beautiful.
Her Halloween theme was amazing.
I know.
Halloween theme was it. I want to get back to it.
I loved it. But you can. I think that's the other thing, is finding out like, what do you like? Don't do it for anyone else. It's finding like, what can I do? I can take photos on my bed. That's what I do. Look at my photos. They're all on my bed. Like,
It's so great though.
Creative, but it's like me, a wall, and a bed. Like that's it. That's all I got. But feed planning in terms of like actually curating an aesthetic is something that like, because I don't do flat lays and I don't do something where I'm having a consistent theme or background in my page, planning ahead and seeing like the next 2-3 posts of what I'm going to post helps me kind of maintain the overall thing. In terms of like editing, I edit on Lightroom. In terms of like taking photos, I have maybe per single photo that isn't me, I take maybe like 10 to 25 photos of just like a page.
Yeah, same. I literally did that in the coffee shop yesterday. I took my photo that I posted today, and I was in the coffee shop. Thank God it was empty. I had like a stack of books next to me. I buy my one coffee and my one little toast, and I take all my photos that day. Like, and I'm like, and then I do like the quote grid one. So I post like a regular photo, a quote, and I'm like, I got 2 photos done. It's
amazing. It's a great feeling. You're like, I'm done for a couple days. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm great. Good to go. But that's interesting. Lightroom, I have yet to figure out.
Lightroom is amazing.
It is also very easy. Just like, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice for, I don't know why, but buy a preset off of Etsy. I have a lot. I'm happy to mail you.
We literally talked about this because
it's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Until you figure out how to use it. which is like what I did with my old feed. Is I like bought a preset, used it, and I was like, this is easy, and then I like understood how Lightroom works. But they're like $3 for like a bundle of like 15 of them. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Lightroom presets on Etsy are like the easiest way to get started. And then like once you figure that out, you're just like, well, I like this preset a lot, but I wish the reds popped more, because I do use a lot of reds in my pictures, or I have a nice green wall that I like to take pictures of. So I want that color to pop, or I don't want colors to pop. So you can play around with it too. And so you have the preset, but then you can adjust it to how you want it to work. And I feel like that's really great. And then like the more you get into it, and the more like if you really want to dive into like that whole photography skill and all of that stuff, YouTube is a great way to like figure out how to edit things, how to like use Photoshop, how to like blur out certain things and all of that. And I feel like it can go wherever you want it to. You just have to start.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight I'll finally do some presets.
I will literally email you like the 100 that I have, because I don't use them.
Literally.
The thing is, like, I have a very short attention span. So like for me, my feed, I feel like 6 photos is really what, like, it's like every 6 photos I change my out. I'm like,
I feel the exact same way. Like, I know it doesn't look that way, but like to me, that's how it feels when I'm making my photos. Is that like, if you look through some, like some are lighter, some are darker, some are more focused on this, some are more focused on that.
Yeah.
And I think my initial messed up perception of like how social media should be is that like the first things I started posting were things that I thought people want to see. Like, people want to see Strand bookstore because I live in New York City. People want to see me holding a book with New York City. This is cool. This is what people want. No, because I didn't like it and it didn't bring me any joy. At least like the photos that I take now, I feel like bring me joy.
They're beautiful. Like,
thank you.
They're like this. I'm literally scrolling through your feed at the moment. Like you with the fucking wine glass.
Same.
You know, it's so funny because I took that photo right here behind this wall. And this is just me having a setup here, so I have a nice background while I'm on this video. And this is like my boyfriend's office. I have very yellow walls. That's a lot of Lightroom editing. But so I think what I want to do, and I've been thinking about it a while as well, is I have a lot of like the photo behind the photo. And the photo behind the photo.
Dude, post that. Post that.
You should start doing that. Like the second photo is like the photo behind the photo, where I want to see like what that would be so fun.
Because
ridiculous.
You should. Because like literally it's like my favorite things to see is like, well, because I'm also on like home bookstagram, like, you know, decor or whatever. And like I'll see like these women, like, you know, they're stay-at-home moms who like doing that. It's usually like those type of wives. And they'll show like their kitchen and like their sink. And then the next one will be like the rest of the counter with like all of like the dishes out and like not put in their things. And it's just like, you have to understand, it's just like that photo is like a 9x16 in like frame of like their entire house, you know. So there's a lot that goes on behind it. But then like for me, it's like now because I'm trying to get into my pictures, it's like I see exactly how I want a picture to come out. Like for example, the picture that I had with my puppies, I have my orange tree out in my backyard, and I'm like, I love like that color dynamic of like the orange is so bright and colorful, and then their dark leaves. I'm like, that's such a great color scheme. I should use this as a backdrop. I should do like a photo of me like sitting down on the ground, legs extended, like a cool whatever. And I have the picture in my head of how I want to take it. But then setting up to take a picture of myself is a lot harder than like, it doesn't come out the way I want it to ever. And I tried to take it on my own. I had like a little mini tripod because I wanted it on the ground. Didn't work. I tried another way. And then the sun was, it was all over the place. I'm like, this is a scrapped idea. We're trying again tomorrow. Jacob, I need your help. come take pictures of me. And then you have like your pictures, and I'm just like, how do you take your pictures by yourself? Because like literally,
And that's it. And Lens Buddy. Lens Buddy is awesome.
oh my gosh, Lens Buddy is. I just started using it.
Lens Buddy is like how I take most of my personal photos. So if we can analyze the feed for a minute. The photo I have, this one that my boyfriend took. It was maybe 30 degrees outside. And we walked around my neighborhood, and I was like, I need to stop taking photos in the bedroom, and I need a photo outside. And so after countless of like what felt like an hour and a half of yelling, crying, and not wanting to do this anymore, we got this photo. So it's
a long process.
And I'm so carefree here. Look at me. I'm like in the wind. And behind there, I'm like, I'm dying. I'm miserable. I hate this. There's so many photos that I feel like I at the end of, and so many videos as well, because my videos, like, I always like to dress up. I always like to put on a different outfit. I always like to do my makeup really nicely. Like the prep before the video and the photo is an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I spend a weekend doing content because I can't do content during the week.
That's
like my
with
structure
school and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't have time. But like the weekend is then exhausting. Like it's not fun doing this all the time. You feel beautiful and you feel great, but I think the most important takeaway is Danny posted about this. Danielle, what is her name? The Forever Booked Up on Instagram. Mm-hmm. She does very beautiful photos, and she's like, I just did a day of content. I'm beat. Because a day of content is exhausting because you're performing, you're putting on this like image of yourself that you are, but also obviously it isn't who you are all the time. Like who I am all the time is just, I like wearing sweatpants. I'm not in a lace dress outside in 25-degree weather in New York City. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's trying to balance both. But I think doing the photo behind the photo I wanted to do because I don't want to like, this is like my fear is that I don't want my feed to reflect a part of me that is so small. You know what I mean? Because it's small and it's not who I am all the time.
Yeah. And that part of like being so frustrated that it's not working out exactly how you want it, dude. It's like, I don't think that many followers understand that unless they've been through it, and they don't like see that part. Because like, you know, we don't want to show that. We want to show like the great side to being a creator. But when it doesn't work out the way you want it to, it gets so frustrating. And in me, I'm like an angry, frustrated crier. There have been times where like I was taking pictures and it didn't come out the way I wanted to. Like the pictures that I took for Valentine's Day, they weren't exactly what I had pictured to do, but it was just like, I see other girls posting like a certain way, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that post. And it doesn't come out the same because like one, my body type is not the same as theirs. My kind of like the way I'm holding my camera is not the same. It's a different environment. They probably have somebody else taking the pictures. There's a lot that goes up behind them getting their perfection, whereas me trying to get mine, it's very different process. And because I'm frustrated that the end result doesn't look similar or feel effortless is so frustrating that I'll start crying and I'll just be like, you know what, I'm not posting today. And I'll go on days of like not posting content for like a week or something. And then all of a sudden I'll get confident again because like, you know, I read like a really great scene in a book and I was just like, oh, I want to embody this. So I'm going to take content pictures today. I'm going to do videos today. I'm going to put on my makeup today because I feel that, you know, but it's not 100%. You know, we don't have it every single day. We don't have it back to back. It most of the time feels like shit. I'm 100% sweats every day. You know what I was wearing before this podcast episode? I was wearing a Disneyland sweater that I got from high school from our grad night. It had masa all over it. Masa is like dough for like tortillas. I was making pupusas today for my Salvadorians out there. Pupusas are like this food with like, it's like a tortilla, but it has like stuff inside of it, cheese and food and whatever. And I was making that all day today. I was tired. I had it all over my body. And I was just like, you know what? But I'm recording a podcast today. So I'm gonna feel great. I'm gonna do this. And you have to mentally prepare yourself to do all of these things. Like, yeah, we feel great and we want it. It is great. not all the time. It's a process that we have to work through and kind of like hype ourselves up into. It's a long, it's a roller coaster. That's what it is.
Absolutely. I think it's also for me, like when I look at my feed, I'm like, I'm thrilled that there's this part of me that exists somewhere, right? Because like the part of me that works and like I get home at like 9-10 p.m. some days and I'm out since 7. Like like I forget that I can even be beautiful, that I can even feel sexy, nice, fun, confident, and like despite the exhaustion sometimes of putting out this content, at least there's a part of me that's like existing. And as much as like my toxic Russian mother has cemented in my brain that you should remember to capture your youth because you're going to get old and ugly and you should not forget that you were once beautiful and young. Yeah, literally like word to word since I was a child. But like thrilled that that's in my brain because
Russian mothers.
Oh my, you have no idea.
I have a Ukrainian father, and I'm like from the military, like USSR military father, and I'm just like,
yeah.
like,
it's also like that's the other thing I feel like that's super important is that like I am mentally conditioned to be this person because that's how my culture is.
Yeah.
Russian women are looked at like diamonds, to be like one possessed and owned, and not only in the fun book way, but like true women are like objects, and so you start to like think of yourself.
You don't question anything. A Russian woman doesn't question anything. She is. I have my sister's godmother is like that, where she's that traditional like blonde like Russian woman who listens to her husband and is very it's a very different way of life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I see it with my mom too, because like when I go see her, she's like, your nails aren't done. And I'm like, I know, because I don't have time to do them. Thank you. Yeah. She's like, oh, your bangs are too long. I'm like, thank you. I know. Like these are like, and these are things that you like live with. And so like, I feel like that's the interesting part about like putting out beautiful photos is that like, here you are, this person who like you have always strived to be. But in reality, like, I've been biting my nails all week. Like, and it's funny because like you look at these photos and I'll look at other people's photos and I'm like, her nails are so pretty and like her hair is done so well and like her makeup's so beautiful and like mine is never gonna look like that. Like I know like what I'm strong with and I know like it's never gonna happen for me that way. And it's tough. That's where like the toxicity of the social media occurs, is that like how do we feel beautiful, sexy, empowered while doing the same for others, and also mentally remembering that like this is a part of who we are, it's not who we are.
Yeah, that's a big part. And I feel like this is like a perfect example of how we can like peek into the back door. You know, this is an opportunity for like, you know, listeners to see like, okay, it's not perfect, it's not 100%. Like, you know, it takes a lot of work, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot. And you know, having to also shift that idea that you don't always have to be put together, you don't always have to be like this pretty, like, you know, made up girl. Like it's definitely not as bad as you guys have it, but like my aunt, every time that I would come and visit her, she's Mexican, like really, really Mexican, and like every time I would come and visit her, I would want to do my makeup because like we're having dinner or we're doing something, you know, but she would only see me for a couple days and I would do my makeup. And then I moved here, and then like she started seeing me every day, and then like she's like, oh, you didn't do your makeup today. And I was just like, I don't do my makeup every day. I do my makeup Thanksgiving, Christmas, and whatever other holiday you throw in there. It's like, I don't do my makeup every day. I look like this. And before it used to be like, oh, make sure that you do your makeup. So like, you know, when we go out, you know, like if you see a cute guy, like maybe you can go talk to him or whatever. And then like when she started seeing me not be like this, she would be like, well, you know, what if you get to run into somebody? And I'm just like, he's going to be able to see me as I am like 75% of the time. Yeah. Nah, like maybe 80. But like, you know, he's going to see me as I am most of the time. And like, that's what's going to drive me. He's not going to see, you know, like there's this idea too, like of like women who get married, like they'll do their makeup and their hair and everything, and then like now it's transitioning to a different idea because I'm also on wedding TikTok because I really want to get married. And it's also this thing of like now it's transitioning this kind of trend of like not being overdone, because like you're not going to be like that every day of your marriage, you're not going to be like that every single day. You know, you want to be how you are comfortably. Yes, we want to dress up and we want to live that fantasy of being the little girls. We want to heal that inner child of being able to dress up and being able to buy nice, pretty dresses and nice, pretty makeup and all of these things. But then also understand we are sufficient. We are enough the way that we are. That is icing on the cake. You know, that's extra. That's bonus. It's not what is filling up the cup. It's not you have to do this in order to have some type of worth. You know, it's understanding that that perception that we put out there is not everything in there. You're seeing like the water from very surface level. There's a lot in there. And often what's in that deeper cavern of that water is a lot better and a lot more truer. And I feel like people who like look at our social media, we need to, as content creators, we do have a job to understand and teach these younger audiences that like it's, yes, you can do this how you want to do it. Yes, go ahead and do it, but you don't always have to be that. You don't always have to look like this. That's why I love how, like, yes, I'm starting to take pictures and look pretty and I do it on my reels and whatever, but now majority of my TikToks I don't have makeup on. It's just like, oh, I have an idea, I'll do it like this and then post it, and that'll be that. And then being okay with not having my makeup done, not having my hair done. And then my Instagram stories, I'll have my hair wrapped up and I'll be doing like a whole reaction video and I won't care, because it's like the people who are following and watching my stories, they're watching it because they want to hear what I have to say. And I feel like that's more important than what people see.
Yeah. I think it's finding the balance between what am I happy doing? Like, is this making me happy? Because for me to like post myself, like we talked about this, like I hated taking pictures of myself. I always felt like I looked weird and like funny and like, you know, like I have like my Eastern European features, but like to me, like I'm a third culture kid. I saw a lot of different beautiful faces growing up, and I always was like, that is not what I look like. And it's being able to like post a photo of yourself and think like, hey, I look fucking hot. That's nice. You know, like that feels good. And also to be like, hey, I'm also in my pajamas and I have no makeup on and I maybe haven't like showered in 2 days and I'm also still fucking hot. And that's amazing. And it's like finding like, what am I happy with? And like, thank God for romance books existing, because they taught me that I can be both and you can look however you want to look and people are still going to love you. The people that matter will always love you. Doesn't matter what's going on with you. My boyfriend always says, like, if you lose your legs, I'm not going anywhere. It's still you inside there, you know, like, so that's like, it's finding like how are you happy? And then will people who love you for that, basically.
Yeah. Cause I mean, look at the romance books. You know, there's always like a ballroom scene or like a party or a club scene where they, you know, have to dress up or everything. And the guy's in love with her before that scene even happens. He's in love with her before she gets dressed up, before she looks amazing. Whether he realizes it or not, he is already in love with her and he has found her sufficient in her little moments, in the way that she laughs at something, in the way that she cares about this, in the way that she remembers this detail, in the way that she just is without trying, without people looking at her and then her putting on a show. You know, he has already fallen in love with her, and then getting to see her dressed up and beautiful to where she feels beautiful and confident is way over the top for him. It's like, it's beyond, but he's already in love with her. And that's a vital piece that I've taken away from books too. It's just like, if he needs to love me at my absolute worst and where I feel like shit and I feel like ugly and I have my period and I'm cramping and I don't feel like talking to anybody and I feel we all feel like shit most of the time. And lately in these past 2 years, it's more often than not, you know, and finding a person who understands that. And then it's not that they love you in spite of your faults. but they love you with your faults and embracing them, and then loving the way that you get to work through them
For sure.
and helping you if you need that extra boost. But like, you are your faults too, and that's something that you have to work through. Like, yeah, my faults may be this, but I love this anyways. Like, this is a big thing that I overcame because of TikTok and Bookstagram. My biggest insecurity is my teeth. That's my biggest insecurity. Because I feel like I have nice cheeks. I have a pretty cute nose. My eyes are okay. My teeth, no, I don't like my teeth. And yet, every time I smile, I'm not gonna cry, but every time I smile on, damn it, on TikTok,
Let's go.
every time I smile on TikTok or something, everybody goes like, "Oh my gosh, your smile's so pretty," or anything. And like how you said yesterday, like Valentine's Day, my smile was everything. And it's just like, I didn't think that before.
But your smile is beautiful. That's why I love this community though, because it's like these big things that like I have always been like insecure about, and like and it's easy. Like, of course I know how I'm sitting here. I have a nice haircut. I put on makeup before sitting down to do this. Like, I know what I'm putting out there, but like that doesn't mean that we don't, like you said, your biggest insecurity is your teeth. So are mine. One of my teeth is miscolored.
It's
got like stained afterwards, and I look at that all the time. But like, I would have never thought your smile, like your teeth or your smile, is like an insecurity of yours when you like glow. And I think like that's like the beauty of like Bookstagram and booktok, is that like we have all these women who are like, you're fucking gorgeous and I love you. Because we're the book boyfriends who are friends.
Literally, because like the amount of hype that we give each other is like beyond astounding. It's like, you know, it's like that cliche of like, you know, like a girl posts like a really hot picture on Instagram, and like she's waiting for her boyfriend to like comment like, oh my gosh, like, heart eyes, fire, or whatever. And it's
all the
he's just like,
girlfriends post.
right, all the girlfriends are blowing it up, and it's just like it is that. And like, I feel like that validation feels like so much more than like from a significant other, because we know that they love us, right? But then hearing that embrace from like other women, it's like so empowering. Because like there was a time where like, you know, we were always scared of like what other girls thought about us and how we looked to them, and like maybe they didn't like, and that mean girl mentality and all of these things. But then having a community of beautiful badass women who you admire, and then they turn around and admire you, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I fucking love it. I love every single one of you guys, because it's just wow. I said I wasn't gonna cry, and then look.
I cried with you. I told you.
I literally called it. I was like, this bitch says she's not gonna cry. She cries every fucking damn time. You can tell who's the emotional one of us, and I'm like I'm the person who smiles like this. Because I hate smiling.
I'm glad for it too.
I'll smile when I laugh, but then like photos, I'm uncomfortable with photos being taken of me, so my smile is.
No, yeah. Big time.
But you gotta increase the dimple in the side. You gotta
that's
highlight
a big one.
The dimple.
All right, so we're kind of getting towards the end, but I do want to ask a question. Since this whole episode has been about empowerment and everything, let's think. Each of us think about like 3 books that just made us feel like so empowered, as like during the relationship of like the romance, or like during like the girl's like aha moment, or just how she carried herself. Like, what 3 books empowered you like so much? That's a tough question, because I'm thinking about that too, and I'm like, dang, maybe I should never ask that.
Hands down, first, Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark, because Ada is the character that I needed my whole life. That is the reason that like I went into dark romance, because I was like, wow, a girl who saves the guy, oh, and she's a badass. That to me was like a massive blow up.
Definitely. For me, it's Broken Vow, because Riona's not the softest peach out there. She's very prickly. She has a lot of irritation to her. And that's how I am around people in real life.
You stole
On
mine.
social media, not. Too bad. Too bad. I said it first. And to have a man see that and not see it as like, oh, she's totally bitchy and she just doesn't give a fuck, and I wouldn't want to deal with that. But seeing a man embrace that part of her and see that as like a strength is just like, I'm gonna find someone out there who is gonna love that about me. So that made me feel like I don't need to lose that. Maybe I do need to become a little more understanding with that, but you know, that definitely made me feel like I am enough. That one was one. I gotta think of two more.
I'm going before you try to steal any of my other ones.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Kill Switch by Penelope Douglas. When it comes to like disabilities and stuff, you still like can, because the main character is, spoiler alert, she's fucking blind. And it's the idea of like still being able to be a woman and being able to do everything the same as a man, and like that like disability does not mean that you're restricted from like living life and finding love and like all that kind of stuff. So it does kind of hit hard where it's like, it's not like you wouldn't think it's the most empowering when you when you think about it, but when you actually think about it, you're like, it's not just empowering for women, but it's also just like being able to like live your life even if you have and live with a disability. It's like, it is really thoughtful to think about. Yeah.
And you deserve love. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I love Chloe Lies's books, because she does so much disability rap in her books, and every single one of them, like, it's such a swoon-worthy romance.
Get a Life, Chloe Brown, also another one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That one's a good one. We did a whole
That
episode
one
on
is
that
a
book.
good one. You know what? I'm gonna add that one to my list too, because like the way that Red like loved her body and she was just like, look, I'm not, and you know, also having to deal with like her chronic illness and all of that, but then like him just being like, I love every single thing about you. I was just like, damn.
Shit.
Maybe my thighs are
That on
not
Amazon?
that bad.
You get that on Amazon?
Get that on Amazon. Let me find that.
Girl power.
I can't think of it. Oh, you know what's another one? I was, because I finished it yesterday. Remember, I have a short-term memory when it comes to books that I've read. So because I recently finished It Happened One Summer, I'm gonna add that one too, because one, she's an LA girl and I live in LA, and so that mentality, I lived it. And then understanding like you have no worth, and then trying being like, I don't know how to do anything, I don't feel like I have any skill to provide, I feel very like basic and surface level, and then finding your own kind of strength and like how you touch people's lives without even knowing it, and then finding something you're passionate about and then doing it, and then also like mirroring how like I just launched the Etsy shop and like doing something that I'm actually like now very and happy to do, and I didn't think I could do that maybe like 2 years ago. So then that was like a cool mirror. So I'm gonna say that one too. There's other ones too, but I can't think of anymore.
I'm right by Piper.
Denise,
Oh,
any
yeah.
other ones?
Piper's definitely mine as well. Only because like I like what you said, like just like what she put out is so much, like, it's just not who she is, and like I thought that was beautiful. I'm trying to
Oh
find
yeah.
it here.
I know, I'm
That
like
was a
trying to
big
look through my
mirror to like
Goodreads.
My
literally
I'm here like
scrolling. I'm scrolling
That's why I've been
through
looking
it.
down, because I've been looking at Goodreads and I'm like, okay, what book do I do? What
I'm
book
like,
do
I don't know
select?
any of these books.
I'm like, did I actually read this?
I don't know. I probably did. Oh gosh.
Also, like,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
This is bad though because I don't remember her name. Wow.
Is it Mara from like There Are No Saints?
No, although I wish. No. But a Sophie Lark book, you know me very well. From The Spy. Why can't I remember her name?
Oh,
Yeah, here we go. Sophie, don't listen.
don't. She has red hair. I know
Yes.
that.
Like she was, I mean, any of Sophie Lark's women are badass, to be honest with you.
Shit, I don't know her name.
Oh, I guess one that I can't like really talk much about, but
Nyx. That was her name.
yes.
Nyx.
She was just like inherently just I love it when women save men.
Love it too.
But Iris from TNC, to be revealed, in a week from now, but me and her have a very similar job, and like just how strong.
I was so confused who you were talking about first, and then I was like, Lauren
I
Asher.
don't want to talk too much about it because it's in the air right now. But yeah, that character to me was phenomenal.
Getting so much love right now all over my For You page, and I freaking love it. That fan art that just was floating around,
dude, it's so good.
That's the level I want to reach. That if I can get anywhere near that, I'm like, I'll die of happiness. I'll create one picture and I'll be just like, that's it. I'm done. I've
retired.
Reached it. I'm over. Yeah. Definitely. There's always like more women, and then like it's funny because like these books that we like feel like empowered, it's like a brief aha moment. It's not like it's not like you're going through the same things or you work the like it's not always like you do the same job as them, or that you are in the same like dynamic as them, or like their race or body types or anything, or any of their like things that make them a person that you have to relate to. But it's just like that emotion, that insecurity that they had to like overcome, that makes you feel empowered. It's not like, oh, like, yeah, it's finding a plus size character and her feeling love for her body is like great, yes, because I've felt that too. But it's not also like someone finding their passion after thinking they had none. It's all these little things that you collectively gather from all of these books that make you whole. You're not taking their whole journey with you, but you're just taking like a little puzzle piece and then adding it to your collection. Exactly. And I think that's amazing for sure. This was a great talk. I feel so good.
Great.
I feel so good now.
No, I'm like, I'm really tired, so that's why I've been like, and I've been like scrolling through your feed, low key. I've just been stalking you. I like to tell people that I'm like, yeah, if you get like a random notification from me liking like a photo from like your first ever photo.
That's you scrolling to the bottom.
I don't think people realize that like when I'm looking down, I'm most likely scrolling through like your feed or something.
I love that though.
So yeah.
Love it.
I guess this is where we'll end.
This is where we'll end. Such a great talk. This is like, I feel so like I could go kick ass right now.
Go to a bar. Go meet a man.
That's like what I've noticed a lot with my book friends lately is whenever we're like in a group chat or like talking to each other and stuff, and we're talking about personal stuff, everyone's always like, sorry, like, oh sorry, like something came up, or like, and I have this like rule with like two of my very close book friends: no sorries in our chats. Women no longer apologize. We no longer we exist and we be who we are, and that's amazing. Like I feel like the empowerment from this community is like overwhelming. It really is. Like you don't even realize it.
Really is.
Here I am.
And then like understanding to take like sorry out of your like vocabulary and changing that. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm late. It's not sorry you're late. It's like, thank you for waiting for me. Now let's proceed. Yeah. It's changing that vocabulary and changing that mindset. Yeah, yes, you do apologize when you fuck up and you do bad things because you're human, but don't apologize unnecessarily. You don't need to apologize for existing.
And like having a life, like that's like, I don't know, that's like the one thing for me with books. Be a human being. It's okay.
Be human. It's okay.
Men can be human all the time. Women,
and they can be shitty humans,
and it's fine. Yeah. Everyone's like, okay,
great. Okay, so we are wrapping up this episode. Thank you, Denise, for coming on. Thank you for inspiring all of our listeners and letting us talk about the struggles, but then also, the empowering that we do to this community. It's amazing. It's been a great
Yeah.
talk.
Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.